start the party off by talking to you about fiction. Usborne and Kane Miller do such a wonderful job with fiction. Their stories are heartwarming, they're often really funny, they have great morals and life lessons in them, but they're also educational. They incorporate rhythm, rhyme, and repetition, and they introduce classics in a way that makes them much more approachable and easy for even the youngest reader to fall in love with those stories. So I'm going to start off showing you, we have a wonderful series called Peek Inside a Fairy Tale. We have 2 new books in that series. We have Cinderella and we have Beauty and the Beast. So I don't know if you can see it in this video, but it has these laser cutouts in it that go all the way through the book. Really gorgeous detail in this book. And it also has flaps in it, so you open up the flaps to continue the story. And it even has some neat flaps within flaps. So this flap opens and you continue, and then another flap opens. So just a really beautiful and unique way to tell this really classic story. Another new title we have is The Curious Case of the Missing Mammoth. This book is so neat. It's a hardbound book, but it's paper. The pages are paper, but it has flaps in it. I've never seen in this kind of paper book these really neat flaps, and it has a ton of them. So it's about, there's a mammoth on the loose, and it's Oscar's job to get it home before morning. The mammoth is on the loose and the mammoth's little brother. So the mammoth is looking for his little brother, and Oscar's trying to get them both home. It has some great flaps, and so they end up going to the museum. So it opens up here. It also has really great facts in it. So facts about animals in the world. This one is Under the Sea, so a bunch of facts about under the sea. And there's just a bunch of flaps in this book. So it's a great combination of fiction and nonfiction. So you're reading this really funny, neat story, but you're also learning about the world. My First Reading library is very popular. It comes with 50 paperback books, and these first 22 are taken from the very first reading set. So these are meant to be for when a child just starts learning how to read, and then it follows them all the way through to 2nd grade. So the books get more and more challenging, even in this first section, these first reading books. Each book gets a little bit more challenging. So they can start off and gain confidence. Another neat thing about these books is there's a part for the child to read and a part for the adult who's a child who's just starting to learn how to read, and the adult to read along. So the child feels like they're reading part of this larger story and kind of contributing to it. So the adult reads this text here, and then the child reads the word bubbles, which is these simple words in these word bubbles. But this is a great way to help a child feel like they really can do it. I hear so many kids say, I can't read, but when they start off this way, it helps them to gain that confidence that they need. We have some gorgeous illustrated books, and this one's new. It's Illustrated Fables from Around the World. And let me show you the table of contents, because there's a ton of stories in this. And there's really beautiful illustrations, and every story is illustrated by a different illustrator. So there's some Greek myths in here, and the illustrations are just really pretty. Let me find some of those for you. There's one of them. There's also a ribbon bookmark in this book, so it can help you, save your place. You can just read one story at a time, and then mark your place and continue right back there. So I'm gonna add some more of these illustrations because they're so pretty. So we also have another great illustrated book called Illustrated Classics, Huckleberry Finn and Other Stories. So there's 6 stories in this book. There's Huckleberry Finn, there's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Phantom of the Opera, and just like the other one, there's a different illustrator for every story, and the illustrations are just really neat. There's not too much text per page, so it makes these classics much more approachable. So I just am crazy about this new book. I'll show you some more of the illustrations. So as you can see, there's just really not too much text per page, so it can really hold a child's attention. The last one I want to show you is a fiction book for older readers. It's called the Gateway series, and the first one's called The Four-Fingered Man. So this series is great for kids that are about 8 to 12, and there's 2 main characters in it, a boy and a girl. So really great for boys and girls. Will really enjoy this book. And it's about Amelia, and her parents are opening up this really old, creepy hotel. And her friend Charlie and her are kind of just exploring and discovering. And it says, the Gateway is no ordinary hotel. Its guests aren't just visiting from other cities and towns. So really interesting mystery kind of sci-fi book. So if your child is interested in mystery, sci-fi, stuff like that, they'll really like this book. That's all the fiction I want to show you. Next up, we'll talk about nonfiction.